Hello my friends, welcome to Collage Class. I do believe that this is episode 10. If not, hopefully I got the number correct on my thumbnail. Anyway, today we're going to add one more element. So you've noticed that as the classes have gone on, we've been adding elements to each session. And last week we used modeling paste, and that was a lot of fun. Let me show you what we made last week. We made these two pieces, very different from one another, but so much fun to make. And you'll notice that we added our modeling paste here. We added a little bit of ink to it. We layered this one on the tissue paper background, which we created a few weeks prior. And then this one, of course, is on a book page, which can be mounted on anything. So these were so much fun to make last week. If you missed that video, be sure to go over and check that out. So last week, our new introduction was to the modeling paste. And if you didn't have modeling paste, that's okay. You could pretty much use anything in the background. And the other thing that we did new last week was we added paint to our paper to create just a nice background, which was a lot of fun. I'm going to show you this. You'll notice, ignore the white parts, the modeling paste parts, but if you look beyond those, you'll notice the green and the pink and a couple different shades of pink and some silver. And that was the paint that we actually added to the sheet prior to adding the modeling paste. So that was also a new introduction. So last week we did two new things. We used the paint for backgrounds and then added the modeling paste for an additional layer for backgrounds. So that was a lot of fun. So I've been trying to add something new, but not necessarily difficult each week. So this piece right here is a cool piece. I love this piece, and I'm going to explain to you what we have here. We have on the bottom a piece of paper that has the background paint on it, just like what I had showed you, done differently, but nevertheless I used paint to do it. Then on top of that, I added, if you look here, I added some tissue paper. You see this? That might be napkin. That feels like napkin. So I added some napkin just for some texture. The napkin had some watercolor that had been added to it, and then it was able to dry, and then I added that. On top of that, I added this beautiful image from a magazine that I found, and I just think it's so pretty, and I just love it. Isn't it cool? It's so cool. And then I also added this piece, and this piece is folded up a little, so I have to glue this back down. But I added this piece and this piece right here. Those are modeling paste. And these two pieces had previously been done on this very light paper. I think it's like butcher's paper. And so I cut it out and I added it here and I added it here. And I will mention to you, then I took gold from an ink pad. So it was gold ink from an ink pad. And I just blotched it all over just to bring sort of a tone of cohesiveness all the way around. And I love the way that it turned out. So that's pretty much what we're going to do today, except for I forgot to mention one thing, our new element. What you would think would be the gold stamping, some of it is. You can see it here, you can see it here, but right around these edges, you see some brown. Let me get a little closer so you can see. See that? I had grabbed a piece of chalk, and I mean it was like kids' chalk, okay, and used it and rubbed it in with my finger and got that effect. So I just asked Andrew, did he have some chalk? And he does. Now this is Crayola. Now you can get professional chalk. It's no problem. You can get like artist chalk. But when I was in class, she had just regular like kid chalk. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So what we did is we dipped our chalk into water, and then we would put it on the page, and you could just draw with it like that, but I ended up experimenting and rubbing it, and I got a great effect. So I thought what we would do today is use some chalk and see what happens, okay? So if you happen to have some chalk around, and it can be any chalk, you can have artist chalk, you can have kids chalk, you can have sidewalk chalk, it doesn't matter. Grab it and let's experiment and have some fun. We're just gonna play. I'm just going to dip this in some water and I'm gonna, draw a little something, and then I might smudge it around with my hands, but let's just start with dipping it in the water and then we'll go from there. So what I'd like to do is end up covering this whole piece of paper with color. So you can see I drew a little something in the corner here, and then I am pressing it or smearing it around with my finger. Now I just dipped my finger in some water because I want to experiment with that and see if that does anything. And I think it does spread the color a little bit more, so I like that effect. Now you don't have to do that, but if you want to, you can. So let's go ahead and try this next blue. And I'm dipping it in the water, you can see it. Now what would be the difference between my dipping it and not? Let's find out. Oh yeah, so it even feels different when you spread it on the paper. Once it's wet, it spreads better. So that's something I notice about that. And then I'm just dipping my finger. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You could probably use a brush. What would happen if we used a brush? I don't know. Let's find out. Let me grab one here. And let me try, I'm gonna try a coarse brush. I've got it wet. Oh, okay, I like that. Look at that. That's kind of nice. So if I want to get this color onto the brush and maybe get it up here, it's very light, but it does it. I like that. Okay, I think it's a little faster with my finger, but this works too. Okay, so that's fun. So we're just marking up our paper basically. Now I want to get this darker blue into the game. And since I've got sort of a rhythm going with this, I'm going to keep going with this rhythm. I'm going to get down here into the corner, get up into this corner, maybe get some of this on the edge here. Okay. Just having fun. Don't overthink it. Just have fun with it. If you don't have chalk on hand, but you really want to play, go ahead and grab some paint. You can do the same thing with paint. That's so pretty. I love it. I love it, love it. We can smush this together if we want to. It's making a super pretty background. So pretty. Now, just so that you guys know, for this, I am using a mixed media paper, and that's so that it can handle the water. You could use, if you don't have that, that's okay. You can use cardstock. It'll wrinkle a little, but it's not that big of a deal. It'll dry, just let it air dry and then put it under a book, and then it'll reshape it. It'll flatten it out for you. All right. Okay, so far looking really pretty, right? Do you guys like it so far? I do. All right, now I want to get the purple going. Do I want the dark purple? Sure. Why not? Got it wet here. So we'll do a few of these, not too much because we already have quite a bit of dark. And we'll smear that around. Sort of blend it in. Yeah, that's nice. I like it. Okay. Okay. Now we've got a lighter purple. I like that. That's super pretty. Okay. Gonna get that up into that blue a little bit. All right, now, So the question is, we've got our greens and our blues and our purple. I don't know that I really want to introduce red. So I might go back into some green. Let's give that a shot. And you know what? This is the green. Let me go in with this one. This is more like a blue green, and I just feel like that'll be better. Gonna go up into the purple just a little bit and finish this out with the blue green, okay? Dipped my paintbrush so we can just get this on here. Almost done. All right, love it. So any other pieces that look like they're not covered with color, I'm just gonna hit that real quick. Very nice. I'm gonna touch this right here with a little bit of the blue-green. Let me touch it with my finger now. Okay. All right, let's let this dry. All right, friends, for the next phase of our collage, I've grabbed a couple of additional things. I grabbed this. This is a piece of jelly printed paper, again on butcher's paper, sort of like parchment paper, a similar feeling to it, though not waxy at all. The colors are great, so I pulled that. I thought we could have fun with that. I pulled this also. These couldn't be any more different. The vibes here couldn't be any more different. That's why I like the challenge of it, so we're gonna set that aside. And then we have this, which this vibe does go, like it fits right in there. So I'm thinking what we're gonna do, let me check the back. I didn't even look at the back. Oh, that's cute. Look at that. That's adorable. But we're focused on this because of the color green. I love it. So what we're going to do with this is let's turn this into 2 collages. And we'll have some fun with that. Now, if you're working on a collage today, you don't have to do that. Keep it simple. I'm just sharing with you. You can use the same elements with a few different pieces to create a completely different collage. So I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so now we have our 2 pieces that we're gonna do. And this one, because of the green here, is gonna go over here with this one. And then this one is gonna go over here with this one. And this we'll use for both. So let's go ahead and trim this one in half as well. Want to be sure to use some of this. This is going to be our last collage class, at least for a little while. We can, if there's something you want to see, let me know and I'll go back and do it. No problem. If there's something I didn't cover, or you just want to see more collages in general, let me know that, and I'm happy to do that. We could get into some art journaling and stuff like that. But as far as our series goes, I believe that this will be our last one, and then we're going to move on to either altered books or junk journals or something like that. So I haven't decided yet, but we'll get into something. I figure we'll start with this one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start by fussy cutting this lady out of here with her daughter. And as mentioned, this scene that we have here is a completely different vibe than the papers that we created today, and I'm okay with that, and I actually really like that. So it'll be interesting to see how we can get ourselves to a place where we can make it work. I always enjoy a challenge like that. I find it to be very exciting. Now, I don't expect you to do that unless you want to do that. You can go ahead and create your background like you did earlier, and then get papers that coordinate with that. You don't have to challenge yourself. If you'd like to, that's great, but don't feel like you have to. It's not for everybody to do their collages like that, and I totally get that, and I totally appreciate that. I just figure since I'm doing a class, I might as well stretch as far as I can so that you can see what all the possibilities are. Now I am fussy cutting, but I'm not being obsessive. You can see I'm moving pretty quickly. I'm not obsessing about every little tiny point. Okay. Now, I got to go ahead and remove this part. I think I do. I should. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. It's kind of a pretty color, and the green really goes nicely, but I think I'll go ahead and get rid of it. Now, if you want a fussy cut, but you don't want it to be, you don't want to take like a ton of time doing it, that's what our inking is for. So go ahead and you do your fussy cut, and then you can go around the edges with a brush and some ink it up a little bit, and it'll, if there's any white space or anything like that, it'll cover that up for you. Now, just in case we want to use some of these birds, let's go ahead and cut some of this out. I'm not sure how tight I want to go with this. I guess what I'll do is I'll go as tight as I can without being crazy about it. All right, here we go. All right, let's figure out our placement real quick. Nothing is glued down. So let's say this is centered, and let's say we've got her coming off of that piece a little bit because we want to make a little bit of room for these birds. And then we have our birds here. And then up here, I'd like to put one. How was he flying in on the last one? I think like this, because then we can have our eye drawn like that. So it'll sort of go like that, a little swoosh. Then remember, we've got to work this into it. This is our challenge, is to work this into it. So I was thinking maybe I cut or just tear these pieces, these corner pieces out. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be kind of neat. And we'll leave them rough, you know, and then maybe we'll put those in the corners. Okay, that adds an element of surprise. Yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to go ahead and tear these out here. Oh, I didn't do the dot on this one, so I better leave it out on this one too. Whoops. All right, there's that. I'm going to go ahead and I'll tear these out and I'll be right back. All right, we got these cut out, or not cut out, but torn out. And let's move these things aside. Let's go ahead and start gluing down. So I'm flipping this over, and I'm just going to use my Aleene's Tacky Glue. Now, I had my spatula somewhere around here, but now I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Just spread that glue around. And then before we start with our images, I want to go ahead and get these on. So I am, you know, I was wondering if I could, well, maybe I'll cut right around here, just right at the corner. All right, so let's get that glued down. We'll go ahead and get glue on all 4 pieces, all at one time. So just to remind you guys, this was a stencil that I used with the molding paste, and I had put some ink inside of, or not inside, but I had put some ink in the molding paste to give it the green color, and then that was done on like butcher's paper, so which is a little heavier than tissue paper, and it didn't have a waxy feel or anything like that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and spread these, or push these down with my spatula and sort of spread the glue around under there if I can. It's bumpy. And then once I'm done doing that, I'll flip it over and then just rub it with my hands or my scissors, or even the spatula. I could do that. I like that I tore the edges. I think that adds some interest to it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. I'm going to grab a couple of book pages, just so I don't get glue on my desk. All right, now I'm going to show this to you up close because I want you to see, you can see the glue under there and that is drying. So we're not going to do anything with those until they're dry, but we are going to add some chalk to those, but I do want to wait till they're dry. So while that's happening, we're going to go ahead and add our little images. So we're going to put her over here, and we will have a bird. This one can go up in the sky. I like the way that these have intruded into the space and taken up those empty spaces. And then these can go right here like that. She's looking at them. Should they go here? Let's see. That doesn't bother me. Let me just look at this for a second and see if I like that placement or if I'd rather have it down here, but it creates a lot of weight down here if I do that. But let me see if I adjust this bird, sort of taking up some space right here. That could work. That evens it out a little bit. Maybe I bring them up a tiny bit. I'm going to glue these guys down first. All right, I got the glue onto the back, and I want to make sure I put them in the right spot. I'm thinking right here. And let's get the mom and daughter down. Did I tell you where I found this image? I found this beautiful image in an Ideals magazine, and it was a Mother's Day edition. Trying to use my wonderful stash that I have. I have such an amazing stash of beautiful things, so I'm just trying to use them. All right, let's try to remember where we had them. I think that looks good right there. We're gonna go for that. All right, and then we have to just get this little bird down, just to take up this little bit of space right here. All right. Okay, looking good so far. Now, our corners need to be worked on. Part of me wonders if I should lift this one and put it over the dress, but I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. Still waiting for that to dry a little bit, so what I'm going to do is flip this over and trim off this little piece of her skirt. There we go. We got that cleaned up. Now I'm tempted to go in with some chalk. So the question is with our chalk, what color? Now, we don't have pink on here anywhere except for the flowers in her dress. So I was wondering, would it be too daring to go in here with pink? Well, there's only one way to find out. So I was thinking what I might do, let's just go over here in this bottom corner. And let's go ahead and just draw. This one's not wet. I'm just gonna get a little bit on here, and then I'm just gonna spread that with my finger. And I just wanna experiment and see what happens. Okay, I do like the way it spreads better when it's wet. So let's see. I just got my brush wet. I don't want to re-wet this glue really, but let me see what happens if I just clean this brush off. There is a little dampness to it, but there's not a lot. What happens if I take that, sort of rub it on here, and then I rub it on here? Let's find out. Well, it doesn't really transfer that much, so let's dip our chalk. Got that nicely dipped, you can see that. And I'll just go ahead and get this on here. I don't want to wait too long to start spreading with the brush. Oh, okay. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, okay. So that's great. So that's something that you can do, and it spreads it real nice. I really like that. Okay, and then we're just gonna take it down here and just spread it out a little bit. We'll do the same thing here. Maybe even here. Spread it out a little bit so it doesn't look and feel isolated. Okay, so let's do the same thing over here. Our chalk is still wet, so hopefully it'll go on there as nice. And I'm gonna make sure, I don't want my brush to be super wet, so I'm gonna wipe it on this paper over here, but I definitely want it to be moist, so it'll spread this. Okay, I think we are ready to do these two. I don't know if this has started to dry or not. Let's just leave it the way it is. No, it's going on pretty easy. Okay, and let's see. Yep, that still has some wetness to it, so let's give it a try. No sense in oversaturating. And remember, we're going to pull this out so we can share this color a little bit. Oh, very nice. What do you guys think? I'm really liking it. I think that has a beautiful effect. And it works in the colors of her dress. It kind of works that in. And I like it. Okay, now it looks like I might have to get my paintbrush a little more wet. Don't want to get it too wet. Fine line, right? So I'm wiping it off on that paper again. There we go. It is good to have it wet though, because it'll help move that chalk around. Yeah, super nice. All right, now I'm gonna blast this with my heat gun real quick. All right, my friends, it's not quite dry. It's a little bit drier than it was, but you can see there's still some glue drying on it. And the paper's a little bit curled because it is in the drying process. So if that happens to you, it's no big deal. Just put it under a book. And if it's wet when you do that, just put a piece of wax paper or parchment paper or something down over it so you don't get any glue or anything on your book. So anyway, let me flatten it out here. I love the way this turned out. I love the corners. I'm glad we added that. I wanted to because, you know, it was part of reusing some of the things that we had made that are in our stash. And I just think it's really cool. So let me know if you like that. Now let's see what we can do with this one. This one should be probably a little quicker, a little more simple, but let's find out. Maybe it won't be. There's only one way to find out. So let's go ahead, similar thing, let's get this glued down, but I see that this edge is, you know what, maybe let's not glue it. Let's tear it, let's be different with this one. Let's not follow the same premise as we did before. You know, part of this class is to experiment and have fun and just enjoy doing something a little bit different. So let's do that. We're going to go ahead. I'm thinking we might. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I mean smaller. Whoops, sorry. Let's make it a little smaller so that we're not covering up the entire gorgeousness of the chalk, right? So we've got this over here in this corner. I like that. And let's go ahead and take some off of the bottom. And we'll save those other pieces because those can definitely go on another collage or a master board or something like that. All right, I'm going to flip these over, get some glue on them, and get them glued down. Now, if you don't have jelly print paper, that's perfectly fine. You just pick some decorative papers that work for you. You could use tissue paper. You could use some scraps that we used, you know, on some of our other collage making days. Just use anything that makes you happy. This is going to be fun. I love this advertisement. I'm excited to be able to use it. The color is perfection. When I was flipping through that magazine, which is from 1951 or something like that, I was like, oh man, it's so good. All right, now let's go ahead and take this out of here. And I'm thinking of tearing, so let's go ahead and start with that. I can always cut, but let's start with a tear and see. I just feel like it. I feel like that'll look good. Okay, let's get this big piece out of the way. And then I'm thinking we can go ahead and tear here. And we will probably use this piece because it's cool and it's part of the advertisement. you know, obviously use both of these. Let's go ahead and tear here. So if you ever noticed when you're tearing paper, one angle will tear easily, and then the other angle not so easily, and that's because paper has a grain to it. If you tear with the grain, it tears easily, and if you tear against the grain, it's not as easy. All right, so let's play with placement real quick. We've got this here, and then let me go ahead and tear these appropriately. I'm leaving the part on there that has the date, because that's pretty cool. And the advertisement date appears to be 1951. Okay. All right, so if this was here, this was here, we almost need something there, don't we? Let's see. I'm liking this so far, but yeah, I am liking it so far, but what, oh, hold on. We have some more of this, but the style isn't quite right, so let me go look around. I cleaned up for Christmas and I can't find anything. But let's go through here and see if we can find something. What a fantastic book this is. I think this was a library find, and what a lucky one. Oh, look at this, it's beautiful. What about this girl? She's super cute. Even the hat would be fun. And then we could just change positions of this and all that. But anyway, so that's possible. And let's see if there's anything else. Oh my gosh, a spoon. Because we stir our Kool-Aid with a spoon, don't we? Okay, so the spoon is a good one. Let me mark that. The little boy is cute. Man, what a fun book. All right, so it's either going to be this spoon, and the color is great, or this little girl. The hat would work, but it's kind of like, what does that even mean? So it's the girl or the spoon. Let's have a little look. She's pretty big. Look at her. Her size is a little bit too big, so I'm going to go for the spoon. And the spoon is big, but that's okay because it's just a spoon. So I'm going to take out the whole page out of the book. There we go. Okay, and then we are going to cut this out. I have glue on my finger. Hold on. All right. I think this spoon is such a lucky find. Now, these words are pretty big, so I think I'm going to keep these. I can cut these and put them in like a little word pile that I don't have a word pile, but I certainly could now because those are great. Okay, let's see about this. Oh man, it's so good. All right, we could do, let's see. Let's pull this down here. Do that, and then let's pull this up here. And then let's see about this. I feel like I want to separate these. I love the spoon so much, I don't really want to cover it that much. But I also want people to see that the Kool-Aid used to be 5 cents for a package. Well, what if we put this part here? Okay, let's play. We put this part here. This could even go like a little sideways, although I don't know if I love that. And then what's this? Oh, this is just another part of the advertisement. This could go here. So, I mean, that's not bad, guys. What do you think? Let me scooch this down for you. What do you think about that? I think that's really, really cool. And then having the spoon up here and having this one down here, I like that. I like the stretch on the page. So let's go ahead and put this down first. Okay. Now this needs to go down next. We're going to have this be just a little bit crooked. Okay, now we're going to do the spoon. And I'm going to get this a little further up into the corner. Love that. That's so cool. What a great find. And then our last little piece. What do you think about this placement here? Do you guys like that okay? I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's good. All right, now we're gonna grab our spatula and we're just gonna press all that down. If you don't have a spatula, that's okay. You can use a pair of scissors. You guys have seen me do that. Just gonna spread that glue out. All right, my friends, check it out. I absolutely love this collage. I love everything about it. Part of me feels like we could have a word up here. Let's see what we have. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Here, I'll look through real quick. How about that? I love it. I think it's the perfect finishing touch. Why the word genuine? Well, because Kool-Aid is garbage, so to me it's just, I don't know. It just, for me, it makes me laugh, so I like it. We're going with it. All right, we're going to place it right here. I think that really evens everything out, takes up some of this awkward space. And so I really like that. Okay, there it is. Now, my friends, let's have a look at both of these collages. And I want you to tell me which one's your favorite. And if you have made a collage with us today, I hope you have, please feel free to share it on my Facebook page, Creating with Jovi, Journals and Crafts. It's a private group. Make sure to join us. Share your makes. I would absolutely love seeing them. I'm going to bend this just a little so it can lay a little flatter. I'll put it under a book later, but for now, let me see if I can bend it into place. There we go. It's a little better than it was. A little bit better. Okay, there we go. All right, so you saw that we used the same elements, not the exact same elements, but the same elements on these. We created the chalk paper together. We used pieces of this paper here on both. That was great. I mean, the backgrounds were similar. So I love these. Let me know which one's your favorite. I hope you've enjoyed Collage Class. If there's something that I missed, please let me know. I'm happy to add more to the series. Really happy to do it. I've loved every second of doing this course with you guys. We'll be moving on to another one. I haven't quite decided what that's going to be, but keep your eyes open. I'm sure I'll give a shout out about it here pretty soon. Keep your eyes open for swap and glue. And I'm not sure when this video is going to roll out, but just so that you know, in February I'm doing a cooking journal collaboration, so join us for that as well. All right, my friends, I really have appreciated spending this time with you guys. Thanks for watching. See you soon.